Well, let's take a look at Agent Select and see what we are going to get here. I want to see a Yutajay Chamber at some point in this series. That will be a fun one.
Well,
but on Abyss, Mini's playing Brimstone.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Not
mean,
one of the spots I would've got to.
get the Whaley Euro on the side of Mace.
Meepo!
Yes, we get the Meepo. I want to see that Brimstone Astra. I think Astra is absolutely great. We will get Zeus playing on the Whaley, not the Jet, but the composition is practically the same. I'm sorry, there's no chamber. So
yeah, not necessarily too many surprises other than the Brimstone, to be honest with you. But again, it's not necessarily going to light the world on fire. I'm more interested to see kind of Yoru and Waylay probably do the most of the heavy lifting here for Gentlemen.
I think that Crystalli with that 4-5 was very close to achieving something big on the first day, and now with the Dejo, I think that he can do it on map 1, especially when we're thinking about separating Beepo and Martin on those executes, what he can do with that drone and whatnot. And otherwise, I do still think that Martin is the best Yoru this.
Is he our Exter? Is he the EMEA Exter?
Yes.
Yeah, Megster.
Megster.
Yeah. Okay. I think he is though, because like, I mean, we would have never been able to guess Mini playing Brim, but you know,
Martin has to go back to finding that form that we've seen a few times, but he kind of lost his touch a little bit.
Can't be farting today.
No, can't be farting.
Cannot be doing that.
Full Bartine.
Yeah, and he also has to demonstrate why he left this KC project behind, you know, because it was a very comfortable position for him. So I'm looking forward to seeing the challenges he might be bringing on this new Gentlemates team. But again, for Fut, is there even an expectation there against them? They should win, right? They have to win this opening game.
They should, yeah. But Fut is a roster that I'm quite concerned about because of the changes. They have to kind of get through these teething issues very, very quickly.
Well, speaking of Fut, we can't leave out their #1 fan. It's Mitch Man alongside Tombiz.
Wow. Oh, it's good to be back, Yinsu. Yes, it's time to kick this matchup off down on that stage. A year of new things, Tom, and for these rosters, that's certainly not something we can avoid talking about.
I was about to say, 2026 is going to be different, but the Fut Joker's already made it within the first few seconds. But no, I'm really excited for this one because I think that you come in with hopefully a Fut roster that's basically going to look to work around Zeus a little bit more. I think they tried to go for firepower last year. This year with the new players, I think we're looking at a little bit more of an opportunity for some youngsters to come in that are going to add a little bit more of like a stabilized look to this team. And then on the other side of things, that you have a whole new look. You've got Martin switching over to one of the other French organizations, which I think is very fun. Starzo coming back to the Tier 1. Glyph obviously swapping regions. And then Bippo himself, like one of those players that didn't make it to Ascension, but that Mouse roster was talked about a lot as an exciting prospect. They'll kick things off on the attack.
Yeah, we expect a lot from Fut looking at their history in this region. Mr. Fallen as well, being around the scene. I mean, it's been more than 5 years since his first official. Leading this squad, some youngsters alongside him, and a team like Fut always had their ear to the ground for new talent. This pistol round starting out with blows traded for each team. Good stun forces a player back. Baha holding on to control the backside, but Crystalli's gone down. There's trouble brewing as the Astra up close surrounded as a bit of backup from far away, and it will be the trade for Mr. Fallen. But Zeus, the one left to carry the mantle through, and Biffo will shut him down with the pistol going to Gentlemates.
Yeah, an important start. Of course, this team last year was known for their hot starts, incredible first halves of games. And I think if you only included the first half of matches, Mates might be the best team in the region.
Yeah, I don't think that's a might.
Unfortunately, I think they lost 9 games in a row.
Yeah,
so,
unfortunately, if you compare the second half, I think they might be the worst team in the region.
I think they were. I think it's not something you could argue, but off to that hot start once again. I think for someone like Beepo, it's going to be important, the fact that you are that player coming into the Tier 1. You are someone that maybe flies under the radar a little bit if you haven't been watching a lot of the Duck League, which maybe you haven't. But he's definitely an exciting prospect. And, well, he hasn't pushed Martin off the duelist on this map, but he may do on others. And that kind of says a lot, because as Bear was saying, he is an incredible duelist, especially on the Yoru.
I'm very excited to see Mini as well, without that weight on his shoulders, leading the team, having a champs winner stepping in to lead this team instead, takes that responsibility off Mini, allows him to make it No?
He wasn't IGLing.
No, we've not got Bone Cold here. I wish we did. I miss him. I miss looking in his eyes. But he absolutely does. Oh, captain, my captain. But the reality is, you know, for Gentlemates, they've made these changes. It's somewhere that I can see a lot going right. They could have the perfect formula with a lot of experience on this roster and those new guys as well. But the same thing can be said for Fut. The thing is, though, on that side of the camp, the team that will now be getting the bye after that flawless round, the in-zone flawless we saw with Martin popping off, as they get the weapons back out for Fut, I'm wondering, this is a team that seems to have had an identity crisis. They had one of the best Jets, one of the best duelists in the world at a time. I've seen Ed last season. Guys on smokes.
Say, which one are you talking
We're getting
about?
rid of Cracks now as well, who seems like one of the most consistent utility support players that we've got in the league. Or had
consistent
for a long
KOs.
time. Consistent KO. KO in particular.
Yeah, if you remove all the other initiators, then he was a consistent, across the region.
But it's a team that needs to find their identity, and I think early on, that's going to be the biggest challenge for Fut.
The main thing for me is I want to see them almost like they were before CNID, where a lot of util being put into Zeus. Because when he came into the league, we were talking about him as like a hot prospect, someone who is going to be like one of those best players from the Turkish region, which means he's going to be one of the best players from our region, because most of them are. The fact is, though, he kind of fell off. Like, he started strong, didn't really see too much more. For Mates, though, an early deficit. They do still have 4 guns to play with here.
I like that from Zeus. He's delaying them a bit with the stun, but the second barrage of util to come through. Flash dodge to start, but the drone catches him, and in the corner he has nowhere to go. Nice shutdown by Mini, good utility, and that's gotten Mates a foothold here on the A side. But not just that, look at the position that they've left Glyph with. He's got a huge opportunity to play this late flank through mid.
Yeah, the rest of the team can almost just sit back, wait for him to try and make a move. They've got available util to delay. That star being put into place to try and make things awkward, and already additional utility bouncing in just to slow them even further. That lurk coming in from behind is going to make things difficult. They're fighting on a front to clear. Our main bar has done well, but then Glyph strikes from the backline, leaving Yedajay with no chance. There's not enough time for him to try and fight this one back. A beautiful post-plant play from Mates, and a 3rd round, a bonus under their belt.
Yeah, I like that decision from Mates to send 3 players, your smokes, your initiation, and your duelist, who's got those flashes in the form of Yoru. Send them towards A main, take that fight as a group, try to get a foothold, and then what ends up winning them the round, securing it, is that safety net of Glyph. They've come in with a clear idea, a game plan from the get-go, and an identity that's gotten them a 3-0 start for Fut. Shaky territory. Shaky footing, so to speak.
It's a little bit worrying as well that, like, I feel like Zeus, the way he started, you kind of expect him to be a little bit on an island, but he didn't seem to have any escape plan then until it was way too late. And sure, he's a fantastic player individually, but if you have a full team breathing down your neck, it's going to be difficult to get out of that one. We are going to see a bit of investment into the light buy. The bandit bought up for Zeus, which, hey, if you're seeing the player that we expect to have the best aim on a team picking up a gun, it's probably a pretty good gun.
Must be a reason for it, yeah.
Where are the skins, though? Like, what are we doing? We haven't got any yet.
No skins on release is kind of a crime.
Give us some skins.
I know. We need.
So I can give you my money.
I had this same problem when the Outlaw came out, but they're coming. They're in the pipeline. Don't you worry. But a 3-0 start for Mates. Shields bought up by Yedajay. He can actually take at least one of those shots, and he will. 31 health, just about survived. Now, that's the little bit of investment paying off already. They've got an Outlaw to work with, but they might not have a site to defend, because Mates are gearing up now for this B take. Losing control on one side of the map means they've got to take some elsewhere. And Fut decide to play for a retake with an Outlaw and that rifle that Yedajay will probably give to someone else. 31 HP. They stand a chance of at least doing some damage here.
Baha retrieves the sniper. Even the tags could help.
Exits.
Yeah, if they are going to move, they have to move pretty soon already. The salvos go out, but they drop like flies. Crystalli was at least able to pick up one with that utility. And now anything more would just be about damage.
Nice.
It's not the prettiest, but eventually Glyph will fall. Mates are taking quite a lot of casualties in these rounds, but to be honest, grinding out 4 already on the attack side. They'll be quite happy with that. And Starzo even getting, well, that ultimate now online for the next round. It's going to make that execution even tougher to deal with a double dive plus a Hunter's Fury.
And that was set up for so much more damage for Fut as well. A player on either side who's recovered a rifle. 1v2. Trying to catch those exits. That shot landing, or this shot landing for Baja, nearly made all the difference. But even despite a bit of damage for mates, like we said, 4-0 up, economy looking good. Starting to build up credits on a couple of players. And for Fut, it's really one chance to stop their opponents from running away with this early map. We need to see a round on the board. We see the AWP come out for Zeus.
Yeah.
That could be the difference maker, but it is on middle, and look at where mates are going. Nowhere near that position, at least for now.
It might also just signal a change. He was never really the guy to pick up the operator.
Yep.
But he's not going to be in the right place at the right time. Early sprint in when you have the Hunter's Fury, the double dive. As said, it becomes deadly. Can get him with pace, but they managed to dodge it on the defense. At least for the early fights and well for Baja. It has not gone well.
You are divided.
For the remainder, you almost have to question the save already, but with Zeus finding one, that might make things a little bit more interesting. This post plant, though, Mitch, is going to be tough to break.
Yeah, I mean, simply put, they just fell apart on the gunplay, and it's left Fut now with a big hill to climb back up to get into this game. Martin has a way out, so he's sticking around, trying to be a headache. The gate crash will be taken into the open, though. Oh, that's a freebie given back, and there's still a bit of time on this clock. Fut could get on that spike, and they will indeed. Now putting the pressure on, dragging them into fights where Zeus is able to take down Cliff, but the molly buys a little bit more time. Mates running the clock down. Mini's going to catch one, and they need that defuse to be started. They need it to be stuck, and it might just be there in time. A narrow margin, but not tight enough. Fut, they make that retake happen.
Yeah, that's really nice stuff coming out from Zeus. Like the quick kick through the smoke on top of the salvo. You're not really expecting anybody to push in that moment, and the get out of jail free card made it so much more awkward. Definitely a mistake or two, Martin being caught out. But it still took some solid work from the side of Fut on that defense. Operator also been retrieved, and to be honest, other than the singular shot that was used in the retake, probably wasn't seen.
Good to see inside that coaching booth as well. Bambino, a man we've all got a lot of respect for, but alongside Geis, the super sub.
He's back.
He's back, baby. And we have high expectations for any roster led by him, but Mr. Fallen, he'll be leading absolutely nothing. Taken down early on, that stun, maybe not ideal. But Baja manages to slip around that double. Let's breathe life back into this Fut roster.
I have the spike.
But just as quickly, they're put back into a 3v2.
This will get Bipper's ult online as well.
Spike planted.
Set him up nicely for the post plant with the convergence path, and if using the area, it's not something we mentioned. Not ideal. They're being closed in on as well. Crystalli is going to get that information. In fact, he's going to get ulted. The counter stun in the instant one tap. A crazy shot to land it, and then Yedushe is just waiting for Glyph to push through. Wonderful stuff, that Turkish aim shining through. Oh, well, Fut. They're not making it easy for themselves, Mitch, but they got a second round.
They're definitely not, Tom, but I would say in both those rounds, I'd favor their opponents to take it. We could be looking at a 6-0.
Well, yeah, with that
And in fact, with the economy where it was at, it would have been an easy 6th round to add on to the tally for mates if they won the previous. So for Fut, they're being given very little in terms of margin for error. And they're making it work anyways. You got to respect the grind back, and a very, very crucial set of rounds that keep that scoreline close, that get their economy back into the game, and that push mates down to an eco. So a chance to close that gap in even more. This can't be the round that they let slip. They're already down a couple rounds.
Pulling them in.
This is
You can
just
easily
rinse
see
and
mates
repeat.
return to form.
I think I've seen this from Fnatic last year. Just go, hey, again and again and again. And, well, once more, they seem to be getting themselves ready for another post plant. That hasn't been the issue at all. They did lose the convergence path in the last round, but Mitch, they do have an orbital strike. But Mini's in the best spot to use it. In fact, he's pushing forward.
I mean, they've got those pistols. Mini even, Guardian in hand, low HP. They got to try to take some risks.
Goodbye.
Either that or you stand back and wait for them to come to you, but when Fut take that fight, it's on their own terms. 3 on the board now for the team that was trailing, that had zilch.
Yeah.
That didn't have a lot of promise in the rounds they were losing either. Well, they are right back in the game, trailing by 1.
Yeah. It's also interesting to talk about with this Fut roster is like, there's been a lot of Turkish talent that I think has been a known quantity for a while. Like, I think people were starting to get excited about Ulf. Obviously, BBL, which were BBL Pacific at the time, everybody was trying to pick up those players.
I don't know what they're doing.
But Baja and Crosstally were definitely not like near the top of the list. They weren't players that everybody was like, oh, this guy's going to be in Tier 1, definitely. But maybe early signs, but we've definitely seen some good moments from them already. For people probably coming in with quite a lot of pressure, a lot to prove early. Zeus, we're seeing quite a lot of that as well. Failed saturates that end up almost hitting the person themselves. And guess what? It's looking like an A hit again.
Seems like there's definitely a favorite. That's a very deep orbital strike going to be put into play. The site will be claimed, but they're looking for a little bit more. Mates inside the smoke, and it will be Zeus that comes under pressure. If they decide to flash out, there's the pop, but they haven't caught Zeus. He's good to fire from the side and take a double. A leg up for Fut as they look to reclaim the site, and Mates, they step forward, taking an even more aggressive stance. Smoke up top gives Bippo the cover. He's on the corner. And he'll be taken out of it by Zeus. It's just running through this side, and ace found by Zeus puts Fut back to level territory. A 4-4 scoreline, and there's not much more to talk about in that round than the Waylay on the defensive side. Unbelievable scene.
This is kind of the guy that we expected. Like, when he first came into the team, he was just nuts. Like, you could see why Fut had built the roster around him. Last year, I do feel like parts of that went missing. Cena being in the roster, more utility was put into that sort of like controller operator player. But now seeing this guy just be able to take over. Oh, he's got his assistant coach very excited, that's for sure. 11-6 on the board. A fourth successive retake in a row on the A site. Do we now see Mates go B?
Nonsense, Tom.
Well, the
fake B go away.
The spike is there.
Fake B go away, Tom. That's what it's all about.
Okay.
Give a ball control.
They're rusing the map as well.
Of course. They're playing us just in case their opponents have X-ray.
Well, there's 3 people on B, so I think Fut have maybe gone, I have a feeling eventually they're going to have to try something else. Not much mid control as well. Like, we saw the lurk in those early rounds, but it's very, very direct.
Yeah, the cam is there to cover that mid walk through, as well as give it a bit more passive info. On site now, Yedege found one in the cage, but doesn't manage to get the kill with Martin flying under the radar down below. Good flash. It's caught Crosstally, and he'll easily be taken out from afar. Glyph helping out in that one. As Mates find a flawless execute over this site. A bit of damage from shock darts is
all of damage
that they have to report back about. And the retake for Fut with an operator and Mr. Fallen standing by his side. They might just go for, oh, look how far away Zeus is. I think they're going to go for the save at this point. Mr. Fallen toying around with the idea of finding a kill or finding a fight, but not much is going to come from this.
Yeah, I don't think you'd throw an operator into a retake in a 2v5. That would be huge economic waste. Although, I'll be honest, I kind of agree with what he said last year. It's like, why would I go for an operator when I can just headshot people with a rifle? We just saw him ace, and then he's gone, right, I'm back on the op. It's like, no, just stick on the rifle. This round was obviously a little bit different. Wasn't anywhere near the action, and I think there was, again, just a small mistake or two. I think Martin being able to fly under the radar was enough to open up on the Cypher. And even though they had 2 other players there, you wouldn't have known. They were gone in a flash, and that's always the terrifying thing with this composition is that 1-2 punch of Yoru Waylay. You think one is gone, well, the other might still be there.
Yeah, it's just about the options that it gives you in terms of taking those fight, the Velvet over Iron, that hidden strength. Your opponents never really know what they're up against. But it is a sign of the times, I suppose, like you're saying, seeing Zeus, a man like Zeus of all people, picking up the operator this consistently, going back to it at first opportunity. It's the era that we're in now, that you've got less utility to clear those angles. He wants to be the guy that's making you nervous to peek that angle without utility, making it costly for you to claim any map control. Problem is, so far, yeah, he's been much more terrifying with the rifle in hand.
Yeah.
Because he just kills it.
It's not a bad problem to have.
No,
it's like, oh yeah, someone might have to give him a rifle every once in a while, but if he's going to win you around, that's okay. Still, Mates sit in the lead. Of course, with this specific composition, a lot of the time you do see the success on the attack.
I love this. Caught by the drone outside A. Sova starts running back. They wait outside B as well. letting the drone go all the way up to here. Of course, if you're Fut, you think that
Oh, okay.
there's no
Never
one
mind.
here, but luckily, he hasn't walked all the way into the trap there. That could have been the very end
Well,
for Sally, but
It was the shots. The Baja fired a couple, didn't connect, and that's enough for him to go, well, I think they might be waiting here. This is a lot slower. Like, mates have just been blitzing into sites all the way through this half, down to the 30-second marker, and it feels a little bit more
30
indecisive.
seconds left.
Sending a bit of util, holding players into that B site. They're going to then try and fake into A. There's only going to be one man there, but that one man has been enough. No! Just pulls out his knife. The timing couldn't be any better. Yetashay's still going to win versus Bippo. And it is going to be more of a retake scenario once
Spike
again,
planted.
but for Fut, they don't mind that.
it's been looking good, but the problem is usually they've had players to contain that aggression in towards the spawn. Think about Zeus hiding in the close right corner if Glyph was to round into spawn. Now, this time they don't have that, and so it's going to take a little bit more time in going for the re-clears, and there's a risk that they're set up a little bit more advanced than you're ready for. Luckily, though, mates are just sitting on the site. They're going to be vulnerable to a burst of util coming through, but there's nothing left to work
never
with, so they got to just run it down, run into the fights, and, well, mates very quick to pounce on the back of that, leaving Mr. Fallen alone, and yeah, the retake's certainly not looking so easy without an ace on a rifle running it back through.
Yeah, it does turn out when Zeus is dead, things become a little bit more difficult, but for now at least, that will be the lead. Extended just a little bit from mates. As said, I do think that with this composition, normally the expectation is to pull out those attack side rounds. The double dive can be terrifying, but also a little bit more predictable when you're on the defense and you almost have to be that little bit more aggressive. For Fut, though, they've decided after the streak ended, they want to take themselves a pause, try and have an opportunity to level things up at the half, and with their economy in bits, this kind of does feel like a 2-for-1 round. If they're not able to take this one over the line, I think mates will likely get an 8-4 half.
I think even if the money was there, I start to question now if we would see Zeus just stick on that rifle. I mean, he just got wide swung, tapped out of it towards that A side. And I think the idea from mates in that round was brilliant. From the very get-go, I believe they wanted that to be an A finish. But they ran so much time down. They waited out the utility to try to punish the B aggro. It came in. They didn't punish it. It was a little bit of a fumble. But they waited so long then that B hit in. It fully convinces their opponents that that's the play, leaving just the op on the A site, and when that op misses their shot as well, the round's already yours, the majority of the time at least. It works wonderfully here, and again, I look back at Zeus and think, he had a rifle in his hand. I think that's a very different fight that he looks for, maybe a different result for their squad. Luckily, this time he will have a rifle. No option for the op, the credits running down low. But what you have to remember for mates as well is this could have been an incredibly convincing start, but that little bump in the road from Fut has already given their opponents a lifeline. They could very well come back to 6-6 at the half. Now that rifle's back out, let's see. Op in hand for Bippo.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Almost a counter to the counter. They're expecting to see aggression. They're going to pull the operator in. I'm sure that was something brought through by the coaching staff. I've heard a lot of good things about Kundi being from that same Mouse roster, and Paco as well from the KC Academy. It's a solid coaching staff coming in for mates. Maybe one that, again, might not be the most well-known, but if you keep an eye on the Tier 2, they're definitely in the mix.
Here.
For now, though,
Time to jump.
it does look like we're going back to the old faithful. That A-side pressure, a small lurk in play, but the dive through once more.
K-Crash not taken. It's the A side.
Wow, they're rotating off.
Yeah, but look at Mini. He's wrapped up through middle, got in this position, but they're ready for it. They know something isn't right with this. I mean, for Mini, when does he go? What's his timing?
I think he's just
45
waiting for them to come through the door.
Yeah, for the rotation. Once that B side is hit, once a bit of noise is made, but you've still got one waiting outside A. Spike coming back in that direction. Is this going to be another B fake into A hit?
Yeah, it is.
It worked before, but Fut still have 3 players here this time.
I don't think they'd expect
30
anybody to
seconds
be
left.
this deep. Now, will this start the rotation? You can hear. And Mini's just waiting. He's hoping that he gets steps to give away the game. Instead, it hasn't been the case, but there's the timing. Strikes perfectly, takes down one, and sure, on the other side of the map, they managed to win a fight, but that spike will go down with seconds to spare. A 2v3 retake and economy on the line. Decisions need to be made for Fut, and they have no idea that Martin is still just waiting. In fact, he expects both players in their positions. It is a complicated round from Mates, but honestly,
Last
perfectly
round before
executed
the
again.
switch.
Again, yeah, that's 2 rounds in a row where I feel like they've come in with a pretty complex game plan that has a lot of ways that it can go wrong. But every player knows their role perfectly. They're moving, they're not overextending. I think the biggest risk taken here, aside from maybe the... Goodness gracious. Aside from maybe the mid-walk by Mini, which, you know, cloak and dagger on that, but was Martine at the very end when the round's
Show
already
yourself.
theirs. Like,
Thanks.
that's it. Very, very nicely done. And for Fut, it's got to be frustrating because this is a team that we know. When you make mistakes and you come swinging at them, looking for that early knockout, they're going to hit right back.
Yeah.
But here, they're not being given the chance.
This is looking less like some individual stars looking to try and make plays, players coming up from the tier 2 trying to make a name, and much more like a team, which, considering they've been together for such a short amount of time, very impressive thus far. Again, credit to the coaching staff, but also to Starzo taking up that leadership role. This has to have a lot of individual presence, but also a mastermind behind it. Again, patient stuff, but the thing is, they can now just bait rotations. Like, Fut aren't going to overcommit here because they've been bitten so many times. The drone, well, that's going to give the game away. It is only a trade, though, and actually this time Zeus catches not only one, but also the spike.
That's certainly going to be a problem. Man advantage for the defense. They haven't wrapped through mid, playing it super cautious and waiting for the Cosmic Divide to come in, but Mini stepped ahead of it, able to catch Mr. Fallen over towards the B site. This is the problem. Yedajay. He's got to wait for some backup to
30
break
seconds.
through that Cosmic
Orb.
Divide.
Ult ready.
With Orb, though, yeah, now they don't have to take that big risk of walking through the wall.
The problem
blind.
is
They
the
can
time.
take the spike, but with no gate crash to go back,
Doing a
they've
thing.
got to plant on this B site.
Yeah, they've realized they don't have time for it. The idea was nice, but unfortunately, with 15 seconds left, Mini's going to have to go
enemy
through this
remaining.
smoke, and yeah,
10 seconds.
it's not bad, but he's got to try and kill everybody now, and there just isn't enough time. Baha will be there to close, and a decent resurgence from the initial start, but Mate's still going
Switching
at the half.
sides.
Mate's certainly looking solid in a lot of these rounds, and we've seen them bring this to a level of strategic depth on that
Why'd
attack
you
side
find
that,
it?
you know, I'm used to seeing Mini call some great rounds, but with him probably coming in on some secondary calls with Starzo, you can see that there's a lot of depth to this roster. So much more to be seen after the break.
And then feely.
Well, a good debut, I think, for both rosters down there. We've seen Fut have to do some adjusting on the fly up against what Mates were throwing out there, which seemed to be some cerebral gameplay to kick off that first half. Now they're going to move to the defense, but a man who very much did stand out in that first half for us was Cliff. He had a lot of big rounds. Time to learn a bit more about him.
Yeah, I just immediately look at he has a tattoo of his cat, so I feel like we need to get that on the broadcast ASAP. Hopefully it's in a place that we can show.
Yes, well, one has to hope. If not, I'm sure he has concept art that he can share the inspiration. 5-7 is the scoreline for Fut, an attempt to climb back into this neck and neck if they can take the pistol and follow up. For Mates, though, they fumbled their chance to run away with a big lead in that first half with 2 mistakes that gave Fut that, well, foot in the door.
Yeah, it's not a bad sign though. Like the fact that it did feel like they were in control for the majority, and that it took some individual brilliance to really bring things back. but such a new roster without that same sort of core as the other side. Pistol round can make all the difference. It could see them further away, but Fut have already managed to get in there. Saying that, though, Zeus has been caught. An early advantage for Mates.
Mates have their target here. They know that the majority of the players are on the site, but Yedijay's isolated. They need to deal with him on top as the drop comes in. Mr. Fallen able to deal the damage! It's a triple for the leader! A headshot on the glyph, finishing him off! And the ace for Mr. Fallen! Almost as impressive as the one he put up last year, and you know what? He's got plenty of time to build on that. What a start to his year!
He always takes the guns that I believe are like, oh, that gun's okay, or that gun's bad, and then just aces with it. Like, especially from the fact that, like, half of those he did with just one clip of the gun. That was so unbelievably clean. Whoa. What's that? They've got 6 rounds and 2 aces. Fut are going to be breaking some records this year, I fear.
Yeah, unlucky, Zeus. I mean, it was a really nice ace earlier, but Mr. Fallen's winning the best ace of the day. It's a new challenge we're going to be running. For Fut, a 6-7 scoreline, Tom. You'll love to see it. Mates will not be looking to make this a long round, though.
Yeah, no chance for an ace. Well, I guess technically the ground got an ace in this round, but an in-zone flawless. Everybody's favorite when people just jump straight off the map. And that will level things up. And as I said, I'm now intrigued how we're going to see this defensive side composition work. Because, of course, you can have that sort of like aggro and then fall away. But that's the expected way to play this defensive side. It's something Fut can wait for. As you said, if you're pushing into angles with Fut waiting, that's where you expect them to win the fight. So I want to see what Mates have got. Is it going to be down to more retake style play in order to get a lot of that utility put into place? They have a lot of smokes to sort of section off angles. They're going to be playing with delay because of that.
Revealing area.
As that double controller could add a bit of a spanner in the works. And no surprise to see Mini playing over towards the A side. It definitely feels like where he's going to have the most impact.
Deploying drone.
Need that back.
Well, we started this out by talking about Fut's desire to equalize things. They managed to do that in style. But now, to push ahead of their opponents, it's a big round. A lot of weaker weapons. You've got the Bulldogs, you've got the Spectre, and Mates are holding it down with rifles in hand. Good trade of damage for Mr. Fallen. Again, he's a bit of a pest with the pistols so far. But it will be this fight on the A side that decides it all. If Baha goes too early and loses, then they are really back up against the wall for the fight to come. But if he wins it, that side's open. And he's going to have some teammates to swing with him. Mini, the man who has to hold his ground.
Clock getting relatively low, but
30 seconds
as you sort of pointed out, there isn't a whole lot on this A side of the map. The late smoke, though, is going to make things very awkward. It's something that they have to go through. And in fact, Mini's just now starting to spam utilities, thinking, well, you know what? There's only 15 seconds left on the clock. If they're going to move, I want them to have the most awkward time possible. 10 seconds as they now run in towards the blender. And well, it's safe to say Fut were not expecting that much utility that late in the round. And Mini, he was the only man on that site for quite a time. He's still there at the end.
Yeah, well, patience certainly paid off there. Holding the angle for the majority of the round, just popping a smoke or two. That's all he got to do. Finally, push came to shove, and well, he has shoved Mates right back into the lead. 8-7 scoreline, but this is where the buy comes back on the other side. For Fut, though, I don't think that came down to weaponry. You know, they had 10 seconds to run through smokes to take fights. Give a man whatever weapon he wants in that moment. I think we're going to favor Mini in those battles. See if they can make it work, though, with rifles in hand, with the Hunter's Fury to start him with an early fight. Looked for by Bippo. He gets
Spike
one and gets
down,
out, but
B.
Glyph not so lucky, and Martine's in the open. Plenty of guns to give him a safe avenue back out of the site. Look at the creep up by Yedijay, though, wasting no time in these moments.
Oh, he's gonna get caught
in one place, and they look to exploit the weakness of another, but smoke and mirrors, Mates changing their front lines as the round goes on, as the seconds pass, and a 4v3 as a result.
Nowhere to run!
Well, there is that Hunter's Fury, but there's not that many people to fight alongside it anymore. Mr. Fallen almost has to try and just go for damage, and a minute left on the clock. Martine is supported by Bippo, although he will get an isolated fight, Martin doesn't give the game away, and at this point, Mr. Fallen is almost completely boxed in. You can see Mini just waiting on the angle. It is a 1v1, but realistically, to pre-aim this angle, it's never going to happen. It's such an obscure spot for somebody to stand in. Mates, again, they will find the conversion, extend that lead a little further, and this is where things might now start to get a little bit more difficult for Fut.
Didn't need the slow-mo there, did we? Yeah, but really nice work. You know, the initial fight, it ends up as a 1-to-1 trade. Not that good for the defense. But the fact that they're then able to reset, they're able to catch Yedege walking through mid, the upper hand's already claimed at that point. Fut are left without any more threads to pull on. As it is their plan that unravels, and Gentlemates find that 2-round lead, push Fut onto an eco, the chance for double digits, and to set themselves up on the home stretch. Very much within their grasp now. I think this is one of those rounds where they're doing exactly the right thing. Look at how passive Gentlemates are being across the board. I mean, this is players set up. I mean, yes, a little aggressive from Martin. He had a gate crash up until seconds ago. But for the majority here, it is just spot info, maybe get a shot or two off, and get out of there. Don't give them the chance to overwhelm you, to rush you down with the pistols, because you know, of all teams, Fut are the ones you got to be careful of when it comes to that department.
Yeah, I feel like they need to almost start pressuring this A site a little bit earlier, because when you have these smokes available just to delay, you're going to have to try and just dive through everything, and that's where Martin's just waiting on the other side. A solo play from Zeus that didn't have a whole lot of support, but even if it did, just look how many players are waiting. It's a triangular crossfire that is running through a smoke. I'd be shocked if anybody on the other side was caught.
Well, you know, they've tried that mid-aggression a couple of times. Yeah, but this time it's a little more than usual.
15 seconds.
Yedege's behind them, but it's being watched. Mini's got his number, a clean kill, and again, that's it. You hope that Yedege finds that angle behind, and when he doesn't, what do you do? Nothing left in the playbook, but to fall at Mini's hands, a 4K orbital strike online, in-zone flawless, money-maker round for Gentlemates, and now they're on the home stretch. Everything pointing towards Gentlemates taking Fut's map pick.
This is the problem, when you're not able to, well, when you're not disrespecting the utility that Mini has, he is just holding these folks until the very last second. Like, he's throwing them down with like 20 left on the board, and as said, then you're trying to run through smokes to kill him, and that's where he just has insane individual ability. Of course, 17 and 9 at the moment. And someone that even last year, when talking about him picking up that IGL role, he still shone individually, but it seems like he's having an even better time here today over on those smokes.
Well, this is it, man. I think Mini in general, like, you think about how many players, we talked about it before, but you go back to like Gobby, the guy who, he leads the team, he looks okay, and when he's in a clutch,
we really are going back.
He's godlike. Someone like Mini, he very much gives me that vibe, because this guy was putting up numbers when it came to leading the team, and now he's unleashed. He's got much less pressure on his shoulders, and it's his chance to shine as an individual. And so far, here today, he has been shining. Hell, he was shining when he was IGL, and so you can only imagine how much brighter it can get.
Yeah, it is scary, because I do think that, I don't want to say that he was the problem when it came to the leadership, but it definitely seemed like there was a big factor of crumbling. And so now having someone like Starzo, who, again, strategically, where the jury's still out, but even just in terms of a confidence aspect, someone who's going to hype up the team, someone who's going to be an emotional leader, he is all of those things and more. And then it unleashes Mini just to be that cracked aimer again. Well, you're witnessing it. Top of the board. I think he's had 7 kills in the last 2 rounds, just trying to hold on to that A site. And, well, as of right now, it doesn't seem like Fut have an answer to a Brimstone on A, which, again, it's not something I thought I'd be saying at the beginning of the day. Look how aggro they are.
The A side hasn't worked out for them, so Fut moved to B, which is now wide open. Mates have double pushed up in A main. They've got players watching mid from both the connector and deep into spawn. This is the whole team, essentially, on the A site with Glyph alone. He's going to be caught putting some of his util out. The smoke blooms, and so do the chances for the side of Fut as now a plant comes through. And everybody on Mates miles away.
Yeah.
So much space to clear and a snake in the grass in the form of Baha.
Need that back.
Yeah, this seems like a massive misread. Because originally I thought they were playing the retake, but evidently they weren't playing the retake because Glyph goes pushing in. That kill for free, though, is definitely going to help them out a little bit. Astra gone, some of the post plant gone. A lot of aggressive positions for them to fight in as well, and they're losing those battles. A surprise position from Yenajay, clearly not enough of a surprise. And Mini's just winning every single fight. Just let this man shoot, and he'll bring you home rounds. Screw being the IGL. This man's just leading in the fragging department.
Ooh, well, that one paid off, didn't it? Yeah.
They didn't even push him. He pushed every single one of those fights. That was an entry fragging the Brimstone.
You know, I'm thinking Yenajay's got him on that second player that's lurking around mid.
They should have all had it.
He gets the orbital strike because he took Yenajay down. He's able to put that into play. And I thought already Mini has done enough to win this round. He's got 2 kills he shouldn't have. He's managed to make them think about their back. He's put orbital strike down to clear a ton of the map, to block vision, and then he kills the last 2 as well. Jesus, Mini, relax. Let them play a bit. 11-7, 21-9. And you know what? He might not be IGLing, but shit, he is leading right now.
Yeah.
God damn.
It really, you don't need to IGL. I guess not much to say when they push A, he kills them all. They push B, he kills them all. It's kind of, it's convenient.
You can't even say they're pushing into him. He pushed into them. He's just doing it all. He's too good, man.
Well, this time, it's Martin to kick off the fragging. An attempted sort of solo push down mid hasn't worked out. And while Bippo goes, you know what, see one, play one. He's not going to get the frag, but Baha now tagged desperately low and still has an awful lot of space. Like Fut
going out.
are beginning to look a little lost. And bear in mind, just to add insult to injury, this is their map choice as well.
suppressed.
Oh, that's not quite landed where it was supposed to. And on the map, you might be able to tell, but you're not going to be 100% certain if it's got the info or not. Up goes Baha, taking advantage of that space that was left open, but now it's being given away. The shock dart's dangerous. Baha surviving and wrapping around as Mr. Fallen becomes the focal point. A shot landed on the side, and a plant could be found. Looks like they're going to try to commit it as Mr. Fallen covers from the side. The plant comes through, but it's 2 men. Their position's known. Their backs against the wall, and now just one who's standing soon. You'd imagine to be falling, and the shot from Mini to confirm yet another round for Gentlemates. Anything but gentle in their approach to this defensive side. 12 on the board, and plenty of chances to lock Fut out of their map pick.
Yeah, they're looking very, very comfortable. I think we saw some of those brilliant individual plays coming out from Fut, but when it comes to a squad as a unit,
One enemy.
seems like mates are better, but also then there's one individual that is outshining everybody on the other side as well. So it seems like they've got them beat in every single department. An ultimate for Zeus. Maybe a chance to pick up the pace a little bit. Like, we've seen them walk up and get themselves at least into the site, but it's always been segmented. It's also had layered lurks that just haven't worked. Like, they've been caught every single time they've left something behind. I almost want Fut to just go back to the basics a little here, but where's this ult going?
There's deep B main push.
No, they're going for the same thing again. Something they attempted already, but it was just waiting for contact, and there wasn't any.
Barrel spotted. Players spotted. Info on 2. But there's 4 in this choke point. Unfortunately, what we're seeing from Mates here, I mean, it's a bit of a head scratcher. 2 players waiting outside the B site like that. It looked like they'd caught Fut with their pants down, red-handed before the robbery, but now the B site's been left wide open, and you think, why is that? Well, look, it's nice to get aggressive with that waylay ult, but it's even nicer to play the retake and trap them all in there. Not only that, but
Uno reverse.
avoid a waylay ult on the other side. Mates have played this again perfectly.
Spike
It
planted.
depends. It depends how long.
Zeus isn't putting the ult through,
Yeah, it depends how long he holds it. Because the longer he holds it, the more dangerous it gets. Yeah, he was expecting them to be further in by now, and unfortunately he was wrong. Now comes that counter. Nice use. The tail. Oh, and in fact, Mini's been caught by it. That's the danger man, and all the rest pushing in will find nothing. An in-zone flawless. A return to form for Fut. And while the attempted retake not working out for Mates, even still though, They now need to match the streak of the opposition.
Well, that round doesn't worry me in the slightest, honestly. Mates changed how they played it early on to avoid the util and ult dump on the site. They then play the retake, they dodge the first piece of utility, and it has to be a massive commitment coming in from Fut to get them that control, to get them that win. They used 3 ultimates, they're not gonna have those for a while, and for Mates, they know when it comes to the round by round, they're the ones that are winning. They also kept their own convergence path, which gives them a leg up anyways in a battle they're already favored in. I think they've done well, playing with the rounds that they've got, spending them like currency to trade out the ultis on the other side, and I think they got a good deal in that last round. 4 in a row needed! Ooh. Oh, it's messy! And that one's gonna haunt Yedajay.
Yeah, that could have been an easy opener. Instead, they now find themselves 2 players down. Mates ready to close their opponent's map choice. And oh, Cristalli, he's found himself in an interesting position, but he's not really the guy you want to be making plays. He's got the spike. And Mr. Fallen is currently walking into the other side of the map, being set up to try and battle and brawl, maybe hoping to pull rotations. That's the goal. Can he make somebody move? But why would Mates gamble? There's literally not really any reason to, and while the second they tried to, Baha, I think, shoots just a little bit early. Now they have 3 players on the side of the map with the spike. Cristalli, he needs to find something here, and he might just get it. The timing is ideal, but he needs all of them to go down. Can he clear out Mini? That would be everything. He would take the side on his own. It has to be the ace, though, Mitch. His teammate has been lost, Mr. Fallen. And now one of the newbies, one of the rookies, gonna try and do absolutely everything, but he can't. A very nice try, but it's Mates that will take the first map.
Now, we talked a lot coming into this about identity. Fut searching for theirs over the last year or two, and for Gentlemates, reshaping this roster, even keeping their IGL, but changing the role, bringing in Starzo from that Tier 2. A man who's reached the highest of heights within the Tier 1 scene, way back our first Champs winner. And now, this new challenge, well, it didn't seem to be much of one as they take Fut's map pick and set themselves up for what could be a 2-0 in their first series this year.